All right, hey everyone, Fat Libertarian here. I wanted to do a video response to Bill Whittle. He did a video, I guess you could say kind of imploring third party Ron Paul, Gary Johnson voters, or those who aren't going to vote, me, to basically vote for Romney because he's the lesser of two evils is basically kind of what was happening there. Um, and it's sort of interesting watching someone who doesn't recognize that their time has come to an end, that we've reached a point to where even if they win, we lose. And I don't think they fully understand it yet. I don't understand how someone can support or vote for a guy like Romney while at the same time advocate for the defense of his principles of liberty. The idea that he actually thinks he defends the concept of limited government by voting for a guy like Romney, who of course will support things like the NDAA, who of course will support preemptive wars of aggression, who will support the income tax, where they club you over the head and steal your money, force you at gunpoint to steal your money. The idea that that is somehow limited government and that's defending our liberties is just completely asinine. It's a joke. It's ridiculous. And I think Romney, just like Obama, will willingly use the force of government to violate our liberties. And so when you look at it that way, it's like there's a Mr. Whittle, he makes a false assumption. It's a very big one. And the false assumption is that somehow Gary Johnson voters or Ron Paul supporters are somehow close to him and Mitt Romney. We're not. We're not at all. I mean, let me explain it to you. In my viewpoint, if Obama gets reelected, the positives are that we may not end up in a war with Iran. If Romney gets elected, the negative is we end up at war with Iran, and a preemptive war too, so it's immoral. Just as if I go next door and I kill my neighbor preemptively, that's immoral. It is also immoral to preemptively engage in a war against a nation that has not directly attacked us yet. You know, outstanding all of the violations of their liberty that we committed since 1953 and beyond, ignoring all those in which they have supposedly I don't know, created a little IED or something in Iraq, and apparently somehow they can track it to Iran and all this stuff. To me, it's just war propaganda. But outside of all of that, until the state of Iran actually attacks the United States of America, then a war is simply, it's not justified, period. And that's my viewpoint. And I know that's not Mitt Romney's viewpoint, and I certainly know it's not Bill Whittle's viewpoint. So, excuse me, personal pan pizza, Pizza Hut, got it, now I'm burping. But so I think one of the things that just needs to be clarified, and I think I've done videos like this before and I've tried to explain it, but it doesn't seem to be getting through. I'm not on your side, Bill Whittle. I'm not on the side of Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity's. I no longer support a foreign policy which creates more enemies for us abroad. I simply don't, I won't, and I will never. I voted for it in the past because I was an idiot. I wasn't a libertarian or whatever you want to call it. I wasn't committed to the defense of liberty like I am now. I didn't even understand liberty. I mean, I was just following the party line. I thought that they somehow had some sort of knowledge, like they actually knew what the fuck they were talking about. That just goes to show you. I mean, I was an idiot. I mean, I had no idea. I just assumed. I just followed the lead. I just assumed that they knew what they were talking about. Well, they're better than the Democrats. No, that was a false assumption. They were not any better than the Democrats. Both parties suck. Both parties are leading to the destruction of this country. Both parties are leading to the bankruptcy of this nation. And the reason is because both parties wantonly violate liberties. And that's why, every election, people say the same fucking thing over and over again. Oh, this is the most important election of your lifetime. I've heard that my entire life after every election, or right before every election. This is the most important. You gotta go vote. Gotta go vote. This is the most important election of your lifetime. Why? They're both going to do the same things. A few degrees difference here and there. They're both going to violate liberty. They're both going to steal from one person in order to give to another. That's why it's so important. The other side doesn't want to be the one that gets fucked. The other side is the one that doesn't, the side that loses. They don't want to lose because they don't want to have their liberties violated by the other side. That's a pure democracy, and that's why it's evil. And that's why I don't support it. And I don't support Romney, and I don't support Obama, I don't support McCain, I don't support Graham, I don't support Reid, I don't support 90% of those fucks on the up on the hill. It doesn't matter who it is. So what we're seeing here is a 10% of the population, roughly, maybe more. It's hard to tell right now, who are waking up and realizing where we're at and what we need. What we need to do is to stop intervening both militarily and into the economy. And neither one of these candidates, neither one of these parties, are ever going to allow that. So I have principles, unlike you, Bill Whittle. I can articulate what they are, and it's simply I don't want government to use. I don't know why my monitor just shut off. I don't want government to use acts of force against peaceful individuals. I mean that really is the crux of my principles, and I will not violate them with my vote. Now, also, I live in Oklahoma City, so I'm not going to have anyone to vote for. Gary Johnson can't be on the ballot for some reason, because we live in this tyrannical state, which I'm thinking now we may have to start organizing here in Oklahoma City or Oklahoma to change this balloting situation. We need to write in, because if I remember correctly, you can't even write in someone here in Oklahoma. Um, I seem to have that in my head, but it's been a while since I've investigated it. I know Gary Johnson did not make it on the ballot here. They found a way to get him off the ballot. So I'm not going to vote. I mean, that is my vote. I'm not going to vote. And just remember that if you vote, you are then responsible for what these people do. Just remember that. I'm not going to let you off the hook for it. Because, conservatives like to make a big deal about abortion and all these gay rights and all these actually petty issues, in my opinion, because they're not decisions that you make as a nation. In other words, when you vote for a candidate who then takes us to, leads us on preemptive war, you have then signed on for that, and you are to blame for it. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, so when you vote for someone, you are taking on their failures, so to speak. You are becoming responsible for what liberties they destroy, what principles they destroy that you believe in. If you then vote for them and they then destroy those principles, even though you should have known that they were going to do that. Like Romney's clearly not going to defend our civil liberties. He's going to destroy our civil liberties in the name of security and the war on terror. The war on terror, of course, which is created by our own foreign policy. It's a war that will never end, and it's a war without a central battlefield. If it's without a central battlefield, they can then violate our liberties in perpetuity anywhere within the world. That's what you're supporting when you vote for Mitt Romney. And I will not, I cannot, I will never support it. It's that simple. You can spin this around all you want, make it seem like it's our fault, and it's not our fault. The 5 to 10% are going to stay home or vote for someone else, and you're just going to have to fucking deal with it. The election's a scam anyways. It's all just a joke. It doesn't mean anything. Gary Johnson couldn't get into the debates. I wonder why. Because the Republican Democratic Party, they control the whole debate system. It's just a complete scam. And it doesn't even matter. 30% of the American people could vote. And everyone's just going to pretend like it has meaning, it has value. And therein lies the true reality of the situation we're in as a country. The reality is we're losing faith in the system, finally, as we should. And that's the scary part for these people. They know what's happening. They know that the only thing that really matters that gives this system credibility is the fact that we believe in it. We believe that we, in fact, have a president. And I think we're on the verge of losing that. I think we're on the verge where the part that loses the election, the side, will revolt in one way or another. And then once the shit hits the fan economically, 2008 collapse happens again. Oh, see, personal pan pizza. Only this time it happens sovereign debt crisis here at home, dollar crisis. You're going to see what you see in New York. I mean, it's just that simple. And again, I don't want to be a part of it. I like to make it clear that libertarians, anarchists, whatever you want to call us, liberty defenders, we have not been in power. Okay, we're not responsible for the 16 going on $17 trillion deficit that you and your two parties have built. We're not responsible for 9/11. We're not responsible for the terrorism that you've promoted with your foreign policy of aggression and intervention abroad. We've been standing against that before I was even a part of it. I mean, I was a part of the problem before I finally figured out how to become a solution. And I'm gonna sit here and not vote for the rest of my life if I have to. If that's what I have to do to at least feel like I'm doing my part and share it with friends and family what I believe and how we could come to a more free and simple society where we don't hate each other, because that's what the two parties lead to, is hate and division and just more problems. They just create chaos is really what they're creating. So I'm not the anarchist. In many ways, I feel like both parties are the anarchists in many ways because they sort of just make up rules as they go along. Oh, well, it's a wartime, so we can do whatever the fuck we want. Well, that's anarchy. Fuck you. I don't support that. So there's a lot of words going around. There's a lot of terms I see online. The reason I brought up anarchy was because someone put a sign that says nobody for president. And of course, someone brought up, well, I saw an anarchy symbol behind it. I don't get it. I don't get it. How can someone who has pools of blood on their hand, hundreds of thousands killed in Iraq, sit there and morally bash anarchists? The anarchy state could nowhere near lead to the kinds of deaths that you get from a democracy. The only difference between a democracy is, oh, well, it has the illusion of an authority. Oh, well, there's an authority. They give me permission to kill someone. Then I can go do it. And you go do it and you feel all justified until a member of that family comes and kills you. No, shit, I'm dead. Fuck. That wasn't very smart. Okay, I gotta calm down. So, Bill Whittle is he's an old time party, dunk him if you got him, Baptist. I'm just kidding about that part. He's just a person from a different time and a different age. Hasn't caught on to this new, whatever this is. It's a combination of things. It's almost a little bit of a combination between, libertarians and, in some ways, progressivism. It's because progressives don't like the whole bailing out of the banks and the financial system. They have a tendency to think that what we have today is capitalism, so they start attacking capitalism. But what they don't understand is, well, libertarians don't like what we have today because it's not really true capitalism. It's not a true unfettered market. In a true unfettered market, you wouldn't have what you have today. You wouldn't have the banks and investment firms the way that they are. You wouldn't have had a 2008 collapse the way that happened. So there's a lot of moving parts right now. And someone like Bill Whittle is in the past. They still represent the old guard. It's going to take an event. It's going to take a 9/11 style, maybe even bigger event to change things. Unfortunately, I think that's where we're at. And the reason in the United States we always need enemies, we always need boogeymen, is so that we can never examine our own choices and how they lead to failures. This is why, while it should be obvious to us that our actions, our interventions in the Middle East lead to blowback and acts of terror against us, that's why the conservatives attack Ron Paul when he dares mention that. Not because he's wrong, but because he dares say that we're to blame for it. We've created our own mess. And all they have to say is that's anti-American. Well, it's not any more anti-American, is it, than to say that, well, if we intervene into the economy, it's going to have negative consequences. If the American people choose to intervene into the economy, and that then causes 2008, the economic collapse, is that anti-American to point that out? No, of course not. But conservatives get this cheap, childlike mindset when it comes to war. They look at it like a football game, and it drives me crazy. Like, our team, you got to root our team. Nationalism, no matter what. USA, USA, USA. What we're doing wrong, I don't care. USA, USA, USA. I mean, and keep in mind, it's the same. It goes the same both ways. Terrorists, with their uneducated asses and their little cave mindset going back into the 1700s, 1800s, medieval times. They're chanting Allah, Allah, Allah. So it's all the same stuff. The thing that we've got to get rid of, though, is government. I mean, in the terms of what government is today, I have a tendency to really just simply support constitutional government. I think that's the best way to go. A minimal constitutional government. And I'm talking too much, I'm going too long, but this video got me pissed off, got me ranting and raving, because I don't understand how someone can sit there in today's world and not see that after 8 years of Bush and 4 years of Obama, that both parties are fucking us. Both parties are destroying us. They're the problem. They've been in power, their policies are in place, and the results are there for us to see. And it should be obvious. And I don't understand for the life of me how someone can sit there at this point and still vote for a Romney or Obama at this point. I have no idea how anyone in this country can do it. So I'm going to stay my ass home. I'm going to order some pizza, and I'm going to eat and get fat so that I can just get on Obamacare and die within the system and drain it by as much as possible. If I go to jail, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get as big as I can, eat as much as I can, get as big a clothes as I can. So then they have to they have to make the clothes. They got to feed me, and they got to stuff me up, and I'm going to steal as much as I can from the system. Drain it. That's all we can really do. No, I probably won't do any of that. But still, you get the point. I'm pissed off. I'm sick of this shit. So that's pretty much it. I got stuff to do. I'm going to keep going. Blah, 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 blah.